What's going on? What's going on, family? Hope everybody's doing well. What's going on? What's going on? I'm not planning to be on here long. I just want to share a few thoughts. That's all. Share a few thoughts. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's good. I'm pretty sure brothers and sisters probably be jumping in here, getting a notification here in a minute. I'm pretty sure people will probably be tuning in to see this, hear this conversation. Again, I don't plan to be here on here long, but just share some perspective on some of the things been going on that y'all have seen has been happening. It's a lot that's been happening in the past week or two, just several things. So I'm going to, mention a little bit of it and see what's going on, everybody. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing well. Blessings to you on this wonderful Friday, wonderful hot Friday in the Atlanta area. Hope everybody doing well. So yeah, man, I'm gonna jump into this and talk about a few things based on the subject matter of dealing with, if you haven't been knowing what's going on lately, there has been a church blitz where Israelites are posted up in front of predominant Black churches and whatnot. A certain group of Israelites, specifically the IUIC, have been posting up in front of churches. So I'm going to discuss that a little bit. Also, Israelite and Christian discussions. I think those are area that I'm qualified to speak on. I try to speak in areas where I'm qualified to speak on because that's something that I have been blessed to be able to partake in, been blessed to be able to lead in those areas of discussions between Israelites and Christians. And so I'm going to shed some light on my perspective. What's going on? Shout out to everybody's in the chat right now. Shout out to Brother Faith Music. What's going on? Shalom, Sister Nakona. Sister Nakona. Morad Dakota Stone, shalom to you. Brother DeAndre, Prophet DeAndre McGee, shalom to you as well. And shout out to everybody that's tuning in the live chat, and shout out to everybody that is shadow watching from the outside. You got shadow watchers. So you definitely always give a shout out to the shadow watchers as well, those that don't want to click on the screen to let you know they're watching, but they're watching and listening from the outside. So shalom to everyone that has popped in and that is also commenting. Well, let's go ahead and get started because again, I don't want to hold you long. I want to just discuss and talk about this whole thing about the church blitz that IUIC is posting up in front of churches. The word is that they sent letters to churches, and if those churches did not respond with an invitation to sit down and have discussion, that they would post up and would blitz them or post up in front of the congregation and speak and declare to the people or the members of those congregations that they would come and forcibly have the conversation with the people. Mind you, the letter was, those letters, of course, supposedly, this is hearsay, that those letters supposedly were sent to the church leadership, but the church leadership ignored those things. My perspective is on that whole thing. the Blitz has been going on. I mean, I don't know if people are just, may have been busy, and over the past several years, people have been busy under a rock or whatever they have going on. But the Blitz have been going on. The location of the Blitz has changed. It has gone from being on the average street corner, maybe in downtown, to uh, other areas in the parks or whatnot, to now posted up in front of a Christian church location. So to me, the Blitz has been going on, just watching things unfold and things that have been happening over the past few years. The conversation has always been about the Christian church. And let me be specific here. The conversation has always been about the Black Christian church, okay? About what the Black Christian church is not doing, about what the Black Christian church is not teaching. And we all know, those who've been around, the indictment against the Black Christian church is that they don't teach you who you are as being Israel, and they don't teach that you should be keeping Torah. Okay, so those are the accusations against the Black Christian church, because this is not a Christian church issue. Okay, let's be 100% real. This is a Black problem. This is a Black church problem. I don't expect to see any white churches coming forth in the defense of the Black church concerning this issue with Israelites, in which many of them declared that they were former members of the Christian church. So there's some things that are Black church problem. And even within the Black church, it's still a certain sect within the Black church issue, because you're probably not going to find every Black church is not going to come to the defense of other Black churches when it comes to this situation. So even within that, you have different compartments within the Black church situation that some people are not going to get involved in, people are not going to touch. And specifically, we know that the white church is not going to deal with it because it's not a white church issue. You don't see brothers on the corner posted up and screaming indictments against the white church, Christian church, or you don't see brothers in front of white Christian churches, that even if the white church has a lot of Black members, you just don't see it. It'll just be 100% about it. But this is more so about the Black church, the predominantly Black church. It is the Black church problem. With that being said, again, the Blitz itself has been going on. It's just that people are shocked now because they didn't expect them to post up in front of the church. But here's the thing. It's been going on for a while that Israelites have also gone in churches, some, not a whole lot, but there have been some Israelites going into churches and have been challenging the leadership in the church during the service. So there's several forms of blitzes, and IUIC in particular haven't been going into churches interrupting services, but mostly spend their time in the Black community, preaching that we're Israel, we need to keep Torah and things like that. So I can't bring the indictment against them and say that they've been running in churches, because they have not been running in churches, for as I know. But I will say that with the situation that is taking place and is going on, I don't think that this situation is going to lighten up. I think it's as more and more, and especially now that we see that certain parts of the Christian community, Black Christian church, which is the urban apologists, now that they have made it a mandate or have made a decision to blitz IUIC, specifically in Detroit, that I think that it's going to turn into something that's probably going to turn even more of a y'all did to us, what we're going to do, it's going to be more get back. All right, so I can see that even taking place. because I think that that the reason why this is also playing into the hands of IUIC is specifically because they love it. This is what they love to do. And when you do something like that, and to follow up with saying that, hey, y'all blitzed us, we're going to blitz y'all, we're going to defend the gospel against people who this is what they love to do. It's like 50 cents. People really don't understand. Like when you see a lot of people try to get back at 50 Cent, 50 Cent is a natural blooded antagonist. And when you have individuals who live and breathe antagonism, it's hard to try to combat them with what they've done because you play into their hands. The smart ones, such as Jay-Z and Nas, when 50 tried to launch his attack of antagonism on them, they didn't do a diss song. They didn't respond like Ja Rule responded, okay? Because they understood the terrain, they understood, they studied the particular individual. And I think that that's the issue, that sometimes the silence part of it is the best weapon and the best tool. But at the same time, when there's egos involved, if there's any form of ego that is involved with that, you play into the hands of people who love to antagonize. And so with that being said, this is something that they love to do. So it's hard to match, that fire with fire against someone who loves to do it. And they're just not going to stop. They're going to keep it going. They're going to keep ramping it up. So on that note, I just want to share on that particular area of conversation dealing with the whole church blitz thing. Again, it's something that has been happening. It's not as though it's just started, but it just changed locations. And now it's more in your face. And I don't expect them to not do or to back off. I expect them to wrap it up. Excuse me. So with that being said, the next thing of discussion, Israelite and Christians sit down. I think that the issue here is, according to them, IUIC, they sent letters requesting a sit down. They said many Israelites, other Israelite camps have had conversations or invited sit downs or debates or whatnot with other Christians and whatnot. Hold on for a second. All right. Other Christian Israelites and things like that, other Christians and Israelites have sat down and had discussions and conversations. But the issue is this: how do you sit down and have a cordial conversation if you've already been beating each other up and you expect to sit down without someone that is going to be a viable mediator, but you're going to sit down between the two? It just doesn't work. And the reason why I say that is because earlier on I said that I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this because I've had several dialogues with people from other faiths about doctrine and things like that. But I didn't sit down with individuals after I've pretty much been fighting with them and expecting to sit down and have a we're going to listen to each other type conversation. It doesn't work that way. Things happen. In order to sit down with someone, you sit down with them after building a relationship. This is something that people just don't want to do. They're just not going to do it. They don't want to do it because it's too time consuming, especially when you're trying to get to the point of things. But if the goal is to sit down and to have conversation and dialogue, and I want you to hear me out, it's a certain way that I speak about the issue And that's the issue that we have today. When you build a relationship with a person, that doesn't mean that you have to agree with them on everything, but also at the same time, it opens up the opportunity to have conversation, because when you come to the table, you're not coming to the table with your defenses up. You're not coming to the table with your guards up. You're coming to the table calm, relaxed, and ready to listen. When the police, even when they're getting ready to interrogate somebody, they get them comfortable. They get them comfortable. They sit down. Hey man, you want something to drink? You want to smoke? You want you cold? Hey, anything? What do you need? You're hungry? You need something? That's that. All of that is a part of getting the person relaxed to be able to have the conversation. But at the same time, if this continues, if we're doing it the way we're doing it, um, if it's done the way it's done now, that conversation of sitting down, listening is not going to happen, especially when you're trying to do something on camera. This is why I'm not a fan of having a dialogue and discussion with someone who, especially if I deem them to not be mature. Because first of all, what's going to take place is as soon as we have the dialogue and discussion and so on camera, that particular individual is more worried about how are they viewed amongst their peers, and not the truth. So if someone sits down and they have a following, or their following is totally against the individual's perspective that they're sitting down with, that's not going to be an honest, unbiased sit down, especially if it's on camera. Those are going to be conversations that you're going to have where it's going to be fighting. People are going to cut people off. It's not going to work. Nobody wants to give on either end or either side, because it's more so about their ego, it's more so about their reputation amongst their peers than it is about explaining or getting to the truth. I think that's the issue, and that's the deal. If you want to sit down with someone, I feel as though with the way it's worked for me, I'm only sharing with the way things have worked for me. I've helped. I've sat down with several people, several leaders, and many of them I've sat down with. A lot of them have come into different aspects of understanding. Why? Because one, there was a relationship built. Two, this relationship wasn't something that was overnight. And I think that that's the thing. When we start looking at, especially, we start talking about kingdom building, we start talking about how is it that Yeshua is able to impact people and reach people who probably wouldn't have even listened to him, because of the fact of the day and age in which they live. If you weren't a part of a certain sect, which were the dominant sect of that day, nobody listened to you. But through relationship with the people, the woman at the well, look at how he dealt with her. You know, folks always talking about the woman who Yeshua called a dog and things like. They focus on the dog aspect of it, all right, and not really also understanding the cultural understanding of what that word meant during that time. Okay, but I will say this: why did people change? Why did the woman at the well run off and say she's a Samaritan? Why did she run off and say that I met a man? Y'all need to hear this guy. Why? He knew she was a Samaritan. She even knew that, you know, Israelites don't mingle with Samaritans. But even after he told her the truth, she ran off and she became the witness. So the question is how do you present a truth and it be received, and the person goes off, or the people run off, and they become the greatest witness of the truth that is said? That's the question we all need to be asking. If you plan on sitting down with someone and expressing to them the truth, everybody want to be, you know, the old school prophets of the Tanakh. Everyone wants to be those type of prophets, not understanding the cultural aspect of that day, and not understanding also that the harshness of that was directed towards Israel, not towards someone who doesn't believe that they're an Israelite. So the harshness of that was always directed towards, or the vast majority of it was directed towards an Israelite. But now Yeshua comes and he deals with a Samaritan woman. He also deals with other Gentiles in those aspects. But the perspective in how he spoke the truth, it was always seasoned right. And I think that that's the issue of talking about sitting down with someone and being able to speak a truth of the era that they're in. How do you declare the era without losing the people? I think that's the question that we should be asking. And in order to sit down with someone and share a truth with them and it be seasoned right, I think it just takes something more than the words that you say. I think it has to be deeper than that. All right. Doctrine, which is another thing. So they want to talk about doctrine. Listen, man, nobody's sitting down with you. If the foundation is totally off, if you're saying, if you're trying to tell a person that Christ's mother had sexual intercourse with the spiritual father, because that's what Joseph was, nobody's sitting down. First of all, let me say this. Nobody is obligated to sit down with you. Let's be very clear. No one is obligated to sit down and have a discussion with anybody. Nobody owes nobody nothing. So nobody owes anybody them to say, well, I gotta sit down with them because I owe them this. Nobody does it. It's a decision if a person wants to sit down and have a discussion with you about doctrine. It's not a must. But with that being said, if a person is trying to tell you that you're wrong, and the foundation of it is that the Messiah is a child or a man that was conceived like other humans, or that he grew into divinity, no Christian is sitting down with you, bro. I'm just telling you straight up. It's not. You might as well cancel it. You might well cancel it. You might not even attempt to, because they're not going to ride with that. They're not riding with that, man. That is not happening. That is a foundational thing that they ain't riding with. I'm telling you right now. You send a letter and you want to sit down, and somebody call you on the phone, and the first question they ask you is about the deity of Christ. And if you talking about, Joseph and Mary had sex and Christ was born, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. That's not happening. That's just not happening. You could talk about the Shabbat. You could talk about the feast day, and then, oh yeah, okay. You can talk about the 10 commandments. Well, it's 10, but y'all keep 9. What happened to the fourth one? The one that out of all the commandments say, remember me. You don't even want to remember it. All right, that's fine. Folks will sit down to you and talk with you, but you start talking about he ain't God. He was conceived like me and you and all. Yo, man, I'm telling you right now, you might as well hang it up. The Holy Spirit is the law, and all this, the Holy Spirit, all that other stuff. I'm telling you right now, man, ain't no Christian finna sit down with you if you don't even have the foundation of that belief. And then they're not even going to give you the opportunity to articulate yourself with that. And then if your articulation is off, it's a problem. You can't get mad. You just can't get mad at that point. So there's a lot of things that again, I could talk about I could go in about. My point is not here to go in on anybody. My point is just that it's this whole situation is doomed. Like, it's been doomed. Like, it's just not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And people are gonna do what they want to do. It's just what it is. People gonna do what they want to do. But I always look at it like this. When I study the four gospels, when I study the gospels, I focus on what is Yeshua talking about. I focus on what is he talking about. What is the language in which he speaks? How does he deliver the language or the subject? How does he deliver the subject? What is he talking about? Why is he talking about it? Who is he talking to? And if there's anything that he is not talking about, I don't talk about it. It's just don't. And how he delivers it, I try my best to focus on and matching how he delivers the subject. That's just what it is. I'm just telling you the way I move. And that has been a tool that has opened up other conversations. When you lead off with things that he didn't even discuss, he didn't talk about. If that's your lead off, it does everything else behind it, it doesn't even matter. But if your lead off is what he discussed, how he discussed it, it opened up doors for other conversations that others may have talked about. But if we're going to make him the head and the lead, then make him the head and the lead. If everybody else is going to be before him, then we have an issue. The issue is going to always be that. Okay. So I just want to get on here and encourage everybody. Listen, man, this stuff is been going on. The Blitz just have changed locations, and they feel as though that's their call to do, to Blitz, to tell the church that they need to be teaching the truth. But the question is everybody don't know, everybody don't care, and everybody ain't gonna teach what the truth is as far as heritage. Everybody not gonna do that. There's some people, even within Israel, they shouldn't even be teaching. They know that they Israel and they shouldn't even be teaching it because they don't even teach it properly. So what are we going to do? Are we going to truly be the body, understand the body, how the body works, understand the members of the body? If you're a member, whatever part of that body you are, then you maximize your authority in that area. Not try to be somebody else with the lack of authority in the area that everybody else is in because it seems to be popular. That's not how a body works. We all have to function and all have to do our own part, not sit around here and try to be like other body parts that we were never designed to be. You can't be a heart if you're a toe. You can't try to pump blood like a heart to every part of the body if you aren't designed, if you don't have the muscles and the rhythm and all the things that the heart requires to pump blood to the entire body. That's a hard job. That's a tough job because what happens is if you fail, the whole body fails. But you got people who are trying to be hearts when they're really toes. A toe isn't even responsible for its own circulation. So how can you be something that you were never created to be, designed to be, never given the assignment to do? And this is very important that we need to really look at and understand that. Hey, if you're a hand, be the hand. All right. Don't look at the eye and say, oh man, everybody focus on you because you have different colors about you. So I'm mad because I'm a hand. I'm mad because I'm a hand but then now I want to try to be an I. It doesn't work like that. But it's a whole lot of things that we all need to look at. We all need to shift and pay attention to and really need to understand. So that's my spiel. That's my 2 cents about the whole situation. And at this point, I mean, I don't have anything really to say else about it. It's really not my job to even put a major focus on it. I'm working the lane that I'm in, but I do want to share just some quick thoughts about what's going on. And the only thing I can say is, just get ready, because it's going to shift even more, especially now the government is getting involved. People trying to get the government involved to stop it and all this other stuff. It's only going to get even more ugly. Okay. Meanwhile, who's going to talk to the people who are the onlookers that are confused about which direction do I go in? Do I go with the Israelites or do I go with the church? I'm not talking about people who are commuters. I'm talking about the person who's standing in the middle of the road of conversion, trying to figure out which side do I go, or do I just stay where I'm at? Who's going to talk to that individual? Because there's a whole lot of them that are watching. And so while everybody is up, everybody in, choosing side and picking sides and all that other stuff, there's a whole plethora of people that are watching. And maybe someone that may have been in the church, and maybe they decided, you know what, man, the Israelites do have a point or something. Let me look at this and see what their point is. But now they've come to a place where they seeing this and they're like, yo, I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave. Let me go see what's going over in Kemet. And let me see what's going over in Islam. Let me check that out, because it seems as though they ain't doing all this. They're not acting like this. So I think it's bigger. I view it as bigger than the two. My concern is the souls that are trying to figure out what route they're going to take, what area, what side are they going to take. And I'm not talking about as far as sides with either side. The issue is that both of them are looking at like, well, both of y'all say y'all got the same God, y'all serve the same one. But if both of y'all are representing like this, I don't want no parts of it. Those individuals are the ones that need to be reached the most. And I think that sometimes we can get lost, or they can get lost in the situation because of all of the hype and the intensity of what's going on out here. All right. So y'all be blessed, man. I will holler at y'all, man. Y'all stay up. Have a wonderful and great Sabbath. And all praises to the Most High. Talk to y'all later. Shalom.